It's immoral. It's disgusting. It saddens me that it's even considered an option.
Yeah. Do something. Stop extending. Stop with the new deadlines. Stop with the new whatever. Do something. There was a video of like immigrants coming off a plane and like being shaved, and people were like, yeah, get them. And I don't think any of these people had even been charged with a crime. It was like unhinged. Like, I don't even know if we know these people are actual gang members. Like, you realize how unhinged it is. If it's true, assuming I have the facts correct, that we're taking green card holders and we're basically deporting them as like quasi-political prisoners to like jail for no reason. Like, it's just like, these are the ones that the judge ordered to stop transporting.
Past is erased, and the future is a door that never opens. More than 250 alleged criminals deported from...
Oh, wait. This is the clip. Maybe it's part of that CNN video, but... Like, unless I'm missing something, my understanding is there's been no due process for any of these people. Like, I don't even think they were charged with a crime, let alone like convicted or had any kind of hearing or whatever. I think they just got shipped away right into another country's prison. That's unhinged. Man deported to El Salvador under Alien Enemies Act because of soccer logo tattoo, according to his attorney.
The Trump administration deported to El Salvador this weekend. Just hours earlier, a federal judge ordered they be returned to the United States, rather than held in a notorious El Salvadoran prison with a track record of human rights abuses. Their deportations came less than 24 hours after Donald Trump became the first president since World War II to invoke the Alien Enemies Act, a centuries-old law that allows the rapid deportation of non-citizens with little to no due process.
I can tell you this, these were bad people. That was a bad group of, as I say, hombres.
But many of the deported men lack criminal records in the United States, according to ICE, and the families of some of the men have told ABC News that their loved ones, who they fear have been deported to El Salvador, have never been associated with the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua or any other criminal organization.
Ver que él no tiene récord, él no tiene nada, él nunca ha fachado nada, ni multa, ni infracción, absolutamente nada.
Sources told ABC News that the Trump administration made a calculated decision to ignore a judge's directive to turn around 2 flights containing alleged members of Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua. Their decision to ignore the ruling followed a chaotic 24 hours when the Trump administration raced to deport them before a federal judge could stop them. Here's what we know so far. On Friday, March 14th, Trump signed a...
Somebody said that video looks like the videos that came from when that prison just opened. I don't know if that's from recently or American. Oh, okay, maybe that video isn't.
...proclamation invoking the Alien Enemies Act, arguing that Tren de Aragua is a hybrid criminal state invading the United States. The proclamation was not announced until the next day. At 2 a.m. on Saturday, March 15th, 5 Venezuelan men represented by the American Civil Liberties Union and Democracy Forward Foundation sued the Trump administration to prevent their imminent removals. Less than 10 hours after the lawsuit was filed, U.S. District Judge James Boasberg issued a temporary restraining order blocking the deportation of the 5 men. He set an emergency hearing at 5 p.m. that afternoon. Around 3:30 p.m., 2 buses allegedly carrying migrants depart the El Valle detention center in Raymondville, Texas. Jaime Diaz, a local immigration attorney, captures this video showing one of the buses departing the detention center. The White House issued a press release at 3:51 p.m.
How can people like Joe Rogan ignore this shit, man? It's fucking disgusting. It's crazy because when you listen to old Joe Rogan stuff, I wish I had any of these videos on hand, but like, he doesn't even sound like a liberal who's like, yeah, man, like DEI and all that is, haha. Like, he sounds like an actual compassionate human who, when he's talking about these things, like, yeah, it's crazy that, you know, it's up that they do things to people like this, and I can't imagine, you know, like being in this situation. I wish I could remember. I feel like when you watch old Joe Rogan videos, he doesn't even seem like a clueless liberal. He seems like he genuinely cared. I don't understand how that guy, like, turnabout so hard. It was just insane. Holy f***.
p.m. The proclamation marked the 4th time a president...
Does Justin even read YouTube chat? No.
has ever invoked the law and the first time it's ever been used against a non-state actor.
The administration is claiming that courts can't review anything of what they're doing.
At 5 p.m., Judge Boasberg began an emergency hearing to consider extending his temporary restraining order to cover any non-citizen covered by Trump's proclamation. About 20 minutes later, he called a break in the hearing so lawyers with the Department of Justice could confirm whether the Trump administration is actively deporting non-citizens under the proclamation.
Wait, real quick. We've watched this before, but this is probably what I was referring to. Yeah.
Yes. Saying the word.
Never mind. This is not what we're looking for. Delete this clip. You. This is not what we're looking for. Here's your Joe pre-COVID. Listen. Gotta balance the good with the bad, all right?
Boasberg also said he was considering blocking any deportations of non-citizens under the proclamation. During the break at 5:25 p.m., the first flight carrying some alleged gang members departed Harlingen, Texas, en route to Honduras. 20 minutes later, the second flight carrying alleged gang members departed as well. Approximately an hour after those flights departed at 6:44 p.m., Judge Boasberg said he would issue a temporary restraining order blocking the deportation of any non-citizens subject to Trump's proclamation.
Jesus. Okay, I haven't repeated this claim because it feels a little sensational to me, and it feels like, I mean, maybe, whatever. I didn't want to look into it. Is this actually the Venezuelan... Who is this person? Wait. I'm sorry, not Venezuelan. El Salvador. Is this the El Salvador president? Oh, he's got the one check. I haven't repeated the claims of like slave labor or labor camp because I'm like, okay, labor camp, come on. Today, this is the El Salvadorian president. Today, the first 238 members of the Venezuelan criminal organization Tren de Aragua arrived in our country. They were immediately transferred to CICOT, the Terrorism Confinement Center, for a period of 1 year. Renewable. Thank you. Over time, these actions, combined with the production already being generated by more than 40,000 inmates engaged in various workshops and labor under the Zero Idleness program, will help make our prison system self-sustainable. As of today, it costs $200 million per year. On this occasion, the U.S. has also sent us 23 MS-13 members, wanted by Salvadorian justice, including 2 ringleaders. One of them is a member of the criminal organization's high structure. What the fuck? We're literally selling people into slavery? Hello? What is it? Does Salvador mean salvation? Is the name of this country literally the salvation? Oh, the savior? Zero idleness is a crazy way of saying forced labor limpheo. True. My employees aren't on an unethical grind set. My employees are just on a zero idleness PIP. You're on a zero idleness performance improvement program. I have mouse tracking devices on all of my employees' computers, and I use ChatGPT to make sure they're not using mouse wigglers, so that they're constantly working.
And I know one of the policies of the immigrants, the children of immigrants being separated from their parents, which I'm 100% with you. It's immoral. It's disgusting. It saddens me that it's even considered an option.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. I don't give a if they broke the law. You don't take parents and kids and separate them.
Like, listen to how strong the statement is here. It's not even like, I think it's wrong because, like, I don't think they should. He's, like, strong in that. He's like, even if they broke the law, you shouldn't be separating these people, which is probably true, right? Now, does that mean there should be no punishment? Of course, there should obviously be some punishment. Are there certain crimes that are beyond the pale? Of course. If you're a murderer or rapist or something, you know, for whatever your malum and say crimes are or whatever. I don't think anybody uses that domestically, but your really horrible, your morally dubious crimes or whatever.
You just fucking don't. It's disgusting. There's other ways around it. If you're saying, well, they shouldn't have broke the law. Maybe they shouldn't have broke the law. You don't get to do something that's 1,000 times worse than crossing a line in the dirt. That fucking
1,000 times worse than crossing a line in the dirt. How did he change so much?
Imaginary line in the dirt, crossing that is nothing in comparison to your crime of stealing a baby from its mother. That's fucking insane. That's not America in 2018. That's just insane. And we wouldn't be doing that to Canadians, okay? If Canadians came over here with their beautiful, cute, blonde-haired kids, we're not stealing them from their fucking parents. And
I was wrong about that because we're cracking down on Canadians now.
It's one of the reasons why it's sick. The whole thing's sick. It's chaos. So on one hand, I understand where a lot of people are outraged, and I understand where they're coming from.
Does he mention the number of inmates that are exterminated per year in El Salvadorian prisons? He said, I've read it's about 10%, but probably 10%. That would be insane. There's no way that's the case. Federal judge orders deportation flights carrying alleged Venezuelan gangbangers to return to U.S. Blocks Trump from invoking Alien Enemies Act Oopsie, too late. F this guy. Why is my president the bad guy right now? God damn it. What's happening? I genuinely believe it's COVID brain rot. His brain melted along with his heart. Now he's just some rich sex about it. No, it's like everything is true. Like the terms that they use were true. They just mean the opposite of what you think they mean. Like if you played Metal Gear Solid 2 for the 4 people that actually follow the plot in that game, you went through the beginning of this game believing in something called like the S3 plan. And you learned that this stood for Solid Snake Simulation. And the idea was, oh my God, they're giving me an exact same, like a real life event that goes through the same events of Solid Snake. And then, because it's Hideo Kojima, you find out in the end of the game, wait, S3 wasn't Solid Snake Simulation. It stands for Selection of Societal Sanity. It's actually a completely different thing, or a much broader thing than you thought. And I feel like for the, sorry, you didn't need the Metal Gear Solid 2 analogy to understand this, but it feels like for a lot of these guys, they have the right terms. It's just the total opposite. Like Trump derangement syndrome is real. That's what a MAGA person is. They are Trump deranged. He can do no wrong. Every single thing he does, they'll defend. They'll switch up all their opinions, like no matter what, even if Trump contradicts himself in the same sentence. And then like the woke mind virus is also real. There is a woke mind virus. And that's when you come into contact with a woke person, your mind gets taken over and you're like, holy shit, I have to be the exact opposite of every single thing I think these people stand for. And it's like, wait, no, you have it. Oh my God. Sorry. I just had a Matrix moment. It's even reinforced when Elon Musk made that stupid fucking tweet. Fuck, does anybody know what I'm talking about? He made a tweet about like, it was like a, what is the reformat? Is it RT dash, whatever you Linux losers? He made a tweet about like time to get rid of the woke mind virus. And then he types something, but the thing that he types in is to like to reformat his own box. And it's like, wait, so are you admitting this whole time that you were the one with the woke mind virus? What do you mean? Does anybody know what tweet I'm talking about? Oh God, yeah, Jesus. Oh, is this? Oh God. Oh God, he's so cringe. Trace route, woke mind virus found at localhost, by the way. Time to delete reformat my brain. Like, what is it? What, like, he's so retarded. God, I hate him so much. God, I hate him so much. Okay.
Crazy power that if you're not careful, folks from...
Does traceroute even report localhost? I don't know. As your first hop, would it? I have no idea, actually. Would it? I don't know if localhost counts as a hop. Maybe if you're on a VPS or something, or you're tunneled somehow, maybe?
Deep, dark wells of perspective are gonna infiltrate your shit. Dude, have you watched that great documentary on the like white Aryan folks? Man, it's fucked up. Like this.
Dude, why you gotta go there? Give me that lighter.
These people are very organized, man. It's like they're organized, is what I'm saying. And like, and again, I'm not saying Ben Shapiro's this person. He wears a yarmulke. He's Jewish. What? I don't know much about him. I don't care. I don't care.
Listen to me. Listen to me. All those people that are organized, they come hang out with us. Give me a hug.
You don't want to give them a hug.
Relax.
Why?
Just relax. All those people are just people, man.
Like a white supremacist?
They're lost.
You're going to be under arrest. So turn around.
Okay,
Stop resisting.
Okay, he's not resisting. He's giving me his phone, okay? He's not, I understand. He's not resisting.
Put your arm around. There's no need for this. Don't worry about it. You're going to have to come with us. Don't worry. I'm coming with you. Don't worry. No one's resisting. No one's getting worked up.
You guys really don't need to be doing all of that.
It's fine.
Habibi, كيف بدي أتصل فيك?
Take Amy. Call Amy.
Okay. Hi, Amy. Yeah, they just like handcuffed him and took him. I don't know what to do. Okay. Then what should I do? I don't know.
Did it just say Nor? Wait, what was that?
Nor.
I'm sorry.
Let me ask. Can we get a name, please? Can we get your name? I understand the lawyer is asking for your name.
Over there. No, we don't give our name.
The lawyer's asking for your name. He's saying they don't give their names.
Does this guy have like a legal fund or like a defense fund or something? Or is he? It's just so insane. It's just so fucking unhinged.
Oh yeah, that's right. He'll be taken to immigration custody at 26 Federal Plaza.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that?
He'll be taken to immigration custody at 26 Federal Plaza.
She said they're taking him to 26 Federal Plaza. Can you please specify what agency is taking him, please? Excuse me.
Can you summarize the situation with this guy briefly? Apparently, he's accused of supporting Hamas. I don't know how materially. That Fabian guy was saying a lot of stuff. I don't know how many of these accusations the State Department has made, or if the State Department is even the one making them, or who's made them, or if these are just on tweets. But I don't think he's been formally charged with a crime, and they're trying to deport him. And they're trying to revoke his green card, his LPR status.
They're not talking to me. I don't know. I don't know. Excuse me. The lawyer would like to speak to somebody. Oh my God, they're literally running away from me.
The scary thing is too, I don't know what the answer is, but like I have a pretty good understanding of what my rights are when I'm dealing with the police and even with the FBI. I don't know when it comes to like immigration shit. I feel like it's a whole different set of things. Like if you're dealing with immigration, if you're at the border, you're dealing with like TSA, like coming back into the country. I think it's like a whole other set of shit where people can like, detain you, not retain you, detain you. Yeah, I think you can get detained for way different reasons and held for longer than ordinarily. Like, yeah, I don't know, man. That's the border citizenship. Those rights are, and also as an LPR, I don't know how different that is too, but Jesus. Bro, that Fabian guy, one of the things that bothers me so much when I argue with the Trump defenders is the obvious levels of bad faith that some of these people operate on. When Fabian was like, just because they arrest somebody or deport somebody who protests supporting Hamas, why would that cause a chilling effect at all on any protester that has a green card that wants to protest in favor of the Gaza Strip or Palestine? No, I don't think that would ever happen. Like, bro, what can we not draw any inferences from any type of behavior ever? Like the most common, easy thing. Like it's so. There's such a. I hate the people who are like, do you think Elon Musk and Trump is like a conflict of interest? Like, well, is it really a conflict? I mean, is it really a conflict of interest? I mean, it's like, seriously, bro? Like, it's so crazy. There are more than one of these cases. Yeah, I think there have been several at this point. I keep wanting to say Mahmoud Abbas. Where is Antifa? Hello? Oh God. I just had a really nasty thought. The bad thoughts in my head that all of these protests were actually instigated by like Qatar or some foreign entity. And now that Trump has won the election, they don't give a anymore. So all those protests were basically psyops. And now that Trump is in office, nobody gives a anymore overseas. Me. Oh yeah. How do you know that Asmongold believes in due process? How the fuck do you have freedom of speech without due process? What the fuck does that even mean? Why isn't Hassan organizing Palestine protest? Hassan doesn't do any activism. It's annoying as fuck to see leftists that do nothing. Whatever.
The judge also ordered the Department of Justice to inform their clients that those 2 flights carrying non-citizens need to be turned around immediately and returned to the United States.
They needed to be brought back, and the judge absolutely had authority to do that.
Despite the order to turn the flight...
Fuck, I can't believe I didn't think of that one chatter's question. It was such a good question. The kick chatter yesterday was like, Destiny, why are they talking about how they can't turn the flights back because they don't have enough fuel? Couldn't they just land and then fly back with the people? Yes, they could. So anybody that says, how do you know maybe they can't fly back? The fuel would be too much. You just don't let them deplane. Just land and refill and then go back. What are you talking about? Yeah, fuck me. I didn't even think of this.
All right.
Yeah, and it's so crazy. This guy who does no political organizing whatsoever and then talks about it. And then it like is openly admitting on multiple platforms that like, yeah, I'm a mask on ML, basically, Marxist-Leninist, a radical tanky guy. And then like he still chats with people like Bernie and AOC. I can understand Bernie, I guess, but damn, I feel like AOC needs to better people better. Gross. Because here's my prediction right now. If AOC continues to make the same type of political progress that she is, Hassan and his stream will not support her. They won't. They were already shitting on people like Ossoff and Warnock in Georgia for being too moderate. And a lot of lefties already shit on AOC, I think, because of her statements about Israel already, because she like condemned the October 7th attacks or something like that. And people are like, oh no, AOC's pro-genocide. There's no way that his audience would support her becoming a more mainstream Democrat with like actual like political power in the House or running for higher offices. They'll fucking hate her. All of AOC's staffers love Hassan 100%. True. That is absolutely true. The staffers probably push it a lot. Yeah. When you were on the Ross show, any one of the people arguing against immigrants being imported to sway to the election could have pointed out the logistics don't make sense. Bro, it doesn't matter. I've had that argument with my mom before. I think I talked to you guys about that. I had that argument with my mom like 5 years ago when she thought the 2020 election was rigged. And my mom was like, I think they bust in like millions of immigrants to the United States. I'm like, Mom, millions of immigrants? How many buses would that be? Mom, shouldn't there be like cell phone footage of thousands of buses coming with full like packs of illegal brown people to come and vote? Like we would have some evidence. That's a lot of buses. You understand that's a lot of buses, right? Like when they start coming for regular citizens and punish them, which it seems they're building up to, what do you think the justification will be? I'm assuming it'll be like all liberals are communists. I don't know. They're doing they're always like picking the people that are the most popular to attack, right? So despite us believing, or some people trying to convince you that like Muslims and brown people have this huge dominating thing in the US, they don't. Like not that many people in the US have like fond opinions of Muslims and brown people from the Middle East. So it's easy to deport these people. Most Americans just won't give a fuck. The standoff escalates. Chief Judge James Boasberg says the Justice Department was late and evasive with its filing today, answering his questions about last weekend's deportation flight of alleged Venezuelan gang members. New deadline set, and there's a hearing tomorrow at 2:30 p.m. I hope Boasberg's wife cheats on him with the biggest, most Asian cock, not black. We're not going to be stereotypical here. Do something! Do something! Stop extending. Stop with the new deadlines. Stop with the new whatever. Do something. Why do you keep... Why is there a new deadline? I wouldn't get this much leeway. Nobody would get this much leeway in court. Missing filings, showing up late, not having answers. You know what they're doing. It's all... This is all intentional, and you know it's intentional. When did it become a prerequisite to be a federal judge? Do you have to be into legal cuckoldry? It's actually so cringe. Do something. Order. On March 18, 2025, the court ordered defendants to provide by noon the following day specific information regarding flights carrying individuals subject to the court's temporary restraining orders issued 3 days before. 3 days before, and they ignored you. And they should have ignored you. You're a cuck. Of course they ignored you because you're weak. You're weak. Defendants instead filed a pleading shortly before the deadline, seeking to stay the order, in large part on the ground that they were considering whether to invoke the state secrets privilege. Although skeptical of the applicability of such privilege, the court granted defendants another 24 hours either to release the information ordered or to invoke the privilege. Oh, more grant! Oh, so they'd already given them more grants and more stays and more times. And in an ex parte pleading delivered shortly after today's deadline, the government, so ex parte meaning just one side, the government again evaded its obligations. It submitted a 6-paragraph declaration from the acting field office director for enforcement and removal operations at U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement's Harlingen, Texas field office, the contents of which the government has informed the court may be disclosed. After 4 paragraphs of identifying information, he repeated the same general information about the flights. On March 15, 2025, 2 flights carrying aliens being removed under the AEA departed U.S. airspace before the court's minute order of 7:25 p.m. and before the court's oral statements during the hearing. He then stated, I understand that cabinet secretaries are currently actively considering whether to invoke the state secrets privilege over the other facts requested by the court's order. Doing so is a serious matter that requires careful consideration of national security and foreign relations, and it cannot properly be undertaken in just 24 hours. Then fuck the government. They should have done it beforehand. Make them do it beforehand. Make them do it beforehand. They know what they're doing, and you know they know what they're doing. This is woefully insufficient. Wow. Tough language, buddy. To begin, the government cannot proffer a regional ICE official to attest to cabinet-level discussions of the state secrets privilege. Yes, they know it's a fucking joke. It's all Reddit and Twitter arguments to you. But they're working. They keep getting delays, and they keep getting deadlines postponed, and they keep escaping any kind of accountability. Indeed, his declaration on that point, not surprisingly, is based solely on his unsubstantiated understanding. Although its skepticism concerning the suitability of such privilege expressed in yesterday's order remains, the court at a minimum requires an official with direct involvement to swear the deliberations of the privilege's invocation are ongoing at the level CERTA attests. It further expects such deliberations to be concluded by March 25th, 2025, which only exceedingly good cause may excuse. In addition, to avoid further delay, the court will require defendants to show cause on the facts that they have already disclosed as to why the failure to return the class members aboard the two earliest planes did not violate the court's temporary restraining orders. Further supplementation may be required once particulars are ultimately discussed. The court accordingly orders that by March 21st, 2025 at 10 a.m. Wow. Oh, we're moving the deadline up from before noon. Wow. Okay. Whoa. 10 a.m. deadlines now. Defendant shall submit a sworn declaration by a person with direct involvement in the cabinet-level discussions regarding invocation of the state secrets privilege. This is retarded. You are retarded. I hope I never get to interview this judge. And he was thinking about it and he finds this clip. Like, why would you have to put that in an order? Hey, you can't hearsay your way into testifying about cabinet-level discussions, by the way, because it's bullshit. Because anybody from the cabinet could just come out and say, we weren't having these discussions, and now you have no... There's a reason why hearsay isn't typically permitted in court testimony. It's because you can't talk to the person who has direct-hand knowledge of what you're talking about. Why would you ever put this in an order? Am I missing something? Maybe some legal shit is like this. Why would you ever accept, hey, there was a TRO saying you can't do this, and then somebody comes in and they're like, okay, well, I'm friends with his dad, and his dad said that they're probably not going to be able to do that. Why the fuck would you ever have to accept that and then say, hey, just so you know, for the next court order, we actually need his dad to come in and say that. I don't know why the fuck you're reporting what his dad said when his dad could just come his ass here and fucking say this. Instead, you're getting cum in your ass. This just feels retarded to me. Defendant shall submit a declaration indicating whether or not the government is invoking the privilege. They should have figured it out beforehand. By March 25th, defendant shall file a brief showing cause why they did not violate the court's TRO by failing to return class members removed from the United States on the two earliest planes. Sorry. They are also violating court orders regarding OPM hiring and Perkins law firm TRO. Yeah, they're violating so many things. And then on that one that they appealed to the Supreme Court for, they have like 30 days on a fucking TRO. These are the whole, just remember when you hear this, okay? If you hear anything, okay, just, I know the legal shit is weird, but like a TRO, a temporary restraining order, is an extraordinary measure where the court is granting ex parte. They've only heard one argument, okay? The court is granting that they are going to restrict the actions of a party because they feel that the action is like specific to a certain thing. They feel that the plaintiffs are highly likely to succeed on the merits of the case. And they feel like if the TRO is not followed, there will be irreparable damage that will happen as a result. The court will never be able to make whole the people that are the plaintiffs in the lawsuit. The whole point of a TRO is that it's an emergency thing that needs to be followed immediately. Why the fuck are you letting these things get dragged out by fucking weeks? Weeks and weeks, months. The fuck is, at that point, just tear it up. It's not even a TRO anymore. It's like a polite suggestion. Chief Justice James Boasberg says the Justice Department was late and evasive with response today. According to Judge Boasberg's order moments ago, the Department of Justice had an acting ICE field officer argue, I understand the cabinet secretaries are currently actively considering blah, blah, blah. Oh, is he just summarizing that thing we just read? Okay.
Flights around, the first flight that departed Texas landed in Honduras at 7:26 p.m., 45 minutes after the judge's directive to turn the flights around. The second flight arrived at 8:10 p.m. Approximately an hour later at 9 p.m., the Trump administration filed a notice of appeal to challenge Boasberg's temporary restraining order. 2 hours later, both flights departed Honduras for El Salvador by 11:43 p.m. By 12:18 a.m., both flights landed in El Salvador, and sometime overnight, over 230 alleged members of
If they can't get the TRO out, do you think their judgments in the end of the trial will have any impact on the executive? Who knows? The problem is, like, especially with as convoluted as this is now, who even has authority over these deported people? Like, let's say now, remember, irreparable harm. Okay, irreparable harm is what the court is saying you will suffer if the TRO is not followed. And it obviously applies in this case. Let's say that the TRO is sustained, preliminary injunction is granted, meaning now you have this TRO that extends throughout the entire court case. And let's say at the end of the court case, the government loses, the defense loses. Okay, well, now what do they have to do? Well, you've got to bring them back to the United States. What the fuck does that look like? What if the El Salvadorian government says, no, we're good, we're keeping them now because that was our deal? What are you going to do? You're going to invade El Salvador? Like, these people might just be lost to us forever. Are you going to expect the government to make a good faith effort to retrieve these green card holders or LPRs or visa? Like, it's just, again, remember, TRO is issued because of irreparable harm and the fact that they're likely to lose the case. And now these people are in another country. How are you even going to get them back? Brian Tyler Cohen says federal judge outsmarts Trump in brilliant move.
Such that that person qualifies as a terrorist, such that that person should be removed from the United States. So here's the thing. Judge Boasberg is actually a subject matter expert on alien removal, not necessarily under this act that they're proceeding under, but generally, I'm telling you, Brian, I'm not going to say he's setting up the DOJ lawyers for a fall, but as you say,
setting them up for what?
He's giving them enough rope and he's going to tie it into a nice little contempt knot, I suspect.
Oh, a contempt knot? But why? I mean, I can't predict anything. One, because I just don't have the legal expertise and I don't know the history. I don't know if the history of any of these cases even matter now or like in the past. But also, too, because what the fuck? This whole administration is crazy. But I'm curious, what's to keep the government from saying, okay, you're right, we'll follow the TRO. We're going to try to ask for those people back. And then El Salvador says, no, they're ours now. Sorry, it's our jurisdiction. Now what? Like, you can't hold the government in contempt if they say they've tried to get them back and they can't. You can't compel the government to go to war with El Salvador to get them back. Like,
this is like when someone's like, I don't really speak English. I speak Italian. And they're like, perfect, I am Italian. Let's talk in Italian. And they're like, shit, I don't speak any Italian. Glenn, you had mentioned that this is borderline contemptuous. Now, I understand that.
No, it's not borderline contemptuous. It is contemptuous. All of it has been contemptuous. All these TRO violations have been contemptuous.
Everybody has free speech rights. Everybody is able to go on to cable TV, cable news, and basically spout off about any judge they want to. Does it change things if the person spouting off about the judge is the attorney general?
So everybody has free speech rights, including government employees, government officers, cabinet secretaries, even the president of the United States. But you also are what's called an officer of the court, and your representations must be honest, truthful, factual. You know, Pam Bondi saying the kind of things that you played in the lead-in, you know, those are the kind of things that will damn near get her referred to her own bar counsel. I don't know if she's a member of the Florida State Bar. I would assume she is.
Who cares? These people don't give a fuck. How many of them are already is Eastman disbarred? Did Eastman's pal and Giuliani all get disbarred? How many of Trump's people have already, they don't give a fuck? Attorney
General down in Florida. But, you know, you do have a duty of candor to the court. That is an ethical canon that we all must obey as practicing lawyers. And if you violate these ethical rules and canons, you could very well find yourself being investigated by your state bar, being sanctioned by your state bar. And if you're unethical, misstep was significant enough, you could find yourself disbarred, like guys like Rudy Giuliani, who is disbarred twice over, both in New York and in Washington, D.C.
So, Glenn, what are next steps now in terms of what we can expect with this Boasberg trial as it continues on? And again, just a reminder for folks who are watching, this is all regarding Donald Trump sending off the...
As of half a year ago, State Bar Court hearing judge recommends John Eastman's disbarment. Was Sidney Powell disbarred? Like, these guys just don't give a fuck. She has a disciplinary hearing, 6 counts to commit intentional interference with the performance of election duties. Okay, her thing is still moving through. I don't know where Sidney Powell's stuff is at right now.
These accused Venezuelan gang members to El Salvador, despite the fact that none of them had due process here in the United States. And so when we talk about this isn't to blindly defend gang members. This is making sure that everybody in this country is
Oh, 16 hours ago. So this isn't in response to the filing today?
Afforded the right of due process so that somebody who's not a gang member, for example, doesn't get swept up among people that they shouldn't be swept up with.
Yeah, dangerous criminals, whether they are non-residents, aliens, permanent residents, or citizens of the United States, ought to get due process. And if convicted or if found that they should be deported, then they can be convicted and imprisoned or they can be deported. But the whole key is due process, not leaving it up to the whim of a corrupt, in this instance, president and his corrupt, flunkies that he sends out to do.
Video shows arrest of Colombia anti-Israel ringleader. Oh, we already saw this. I'm curious what all he was even quote unquote accused of.
Nicaragua were
I say quote unquote accused because I don't think he was charged with anything.
transferred from U.S. custody to El Salvador's terrorism confinement center. DOJ lawyers later argued that they deported some gang members pursuant to the declaration before the judge issued his order. Each flight, though, was in the air at the same time Judge Boasberg ordered the flights be turned around. As questions about the Trump administration's compliance with the order lingered overnight, Salvadoran President Nayib Bukele shared a New York Post story that morning about Boasberg's order, writing, "Oopsie, too late." When asked about the deportations on Sunday night, President Trump defended the move by arguing that the
Okay, sorry.